here today. And we'll have two public comment sections. The first public comment section is for items on the agenda, and the other public remark comment will be for anything else at the end of the meeting. The Township Board wishes to inform the public that we do not condone or support the recent derogatory comments that have been made. We acknowledge the concerns raised, and individuals have agreed to cease such actions. In spirit of mutual respect and community harmony, we sincerely hope for reciprocal cooperation from all parties involved. Our aim is to foster a safe and inclusive environment for all residents. We appreciate the public's attention to this matter and look forward to moving forward with a constructive manner. Mike Cunningham, Supervisor. So that was posted today on our website and sent out via email. Time now is 7 o'clock. We'll call our meeting to order. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Sure. Zach Tucker?
Here.
Kurt Schulze?
Here.
Jennifer Eden? Here. Mike Cunningham?
Here.
David Walker?
Here.
Herman Ferguson?
Here.
Pam Moughler? Here.
Approval of the agenda.
Before we do that, I'd like to add something to it. In regards to the statement you sent out in that subject, I would like to talk about what the planning commission member said about residents. I would like to discuss that as a board.
Any other items?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to add as item 7, a discussion of a motion to censure a trustee.
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Support.
Been motion to support the agenda as amended. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sorry. Aye.
Okay, the agenda's not approved. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Nay. Back up, you're asking, we just had a vote to accept the amendments to the
And
agenda?
it didn't pass. It lost 4-3.
Oh, then the answer is no.
Okay, so still 4-3.
Who voted no?
Approval of the consent agenda, the regular board meeting minutes from June 18th, 2024, and the clerk's warrants and bills, July 11th, 2024.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask for a point of order. Can we have a recall, and can we have a voice
Yes.
vote regarding the request for the amendment to the agenda? I don't know that everybody voted in a time on that.
Sure. I'll do that.
So I'm making the motion with the 2 items to be added to the agenda, that would the agenda be approved accordingly. That was really wordy, sorry.
Madam Clerk, may I have a roll call, vote, please?
Zach Tucker?
Sorry, just so I understand, this is on the motion to approve
The
the amended agenda?
Amended,
Yeah,
adding those
amended
2 items
agenda.
to the agenda, that's correct.
I voted yes on that.
Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Kurt Schulze?
No.
Of course not.
Jennifer Eden? No. Mike Cunningham?
No.
David Walker,
Yes?
Herman Ferguson,
Yes.
Pam Moughler, no.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'll go ahead and, do we need to reapprove the agenda because it was already motioned and approved?
No, I don't think so. 'cause
Okay. Did I call for the vote on the consent agenda?
Yes.
Communications. We have three communications, I'm sorry. We have the Livingston County Sheriff's Report dated June 30th, 2024. The Planning Commission approved meeting minutes, June 11th, 2024. The Planning Commission meeting synopsis, July 9th, 2024.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned and supported to receive communications 1 through 3 and place on file. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Next. Public comment. Anyone that'd like to make a public comment, please come up to the front. You have 3 minutes. Please remain respectful and there'll be no public attacks.
No public what?
No attacks.
No attack.
Public attacks.
No public attacks, no attacks on anyone.
Just Facebook attacks.
Just face it.
Come on up. Yeah, Scott, come on up.
All right, public conduct, I think that's what we've been getting handed out, and it's not here today. All of a sudden, it's disappeared. I think it should be part of the agenda. Okay, so all of you, just think it only pertains to the citizens then, right? Except for 2. You're gonna sit there, look at the camera, and tell our residents that it's okay? No, it's not kumbaya anymore. No, someone's got to answer. We have to, Jeanette's been thrown out, I've been threatened to get thrown out. No, it's not acceptable. It all goes back to many months ago.
As a reminder, this public comment.
Well, that's the public conduct, I think is part of it.
It's not on the agenda.
It isn't, but it's something handed out every damn week. You want to ask these people if they want it on the agenda?
I'm going to ask you.
Why don't you ask the
Comments regarding
citizens?
the agenda.
Yeah, right.
Anyone else? Yes, sir. All right.
This may not be part of the agenda, but 2 things.
Please keep this comment section to the agenda items.
Well, there's little time to address the total board other than these meetings, so I'll be brief. Hopefully Carmer Road is going to be on the plan to resurface.
No, please keep it to agenda items. If not, wait till the second public comment.
Okay, I'll do that.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Yes.
Yes.
Jeanette, I'm a resident of Tyrone Township. I just noticed the people that did not approve that are not up for election and have already made horrible comments. Unbelievable. I'm here talking about everything on the agenda. Tonight should be delayed until after our local primary election, which is in just a couple of weeks. I'll explain why, but I'm first talking about the master plan. As you'll remember, we had visioning sessions way back when. They were supposed to draw in the community in order to receive input. Only one session was well attended because the Planning Commission refused to do proper outreach to promote the events. This is a true statement. I gave them plenty of ideas that would not have cost any money or very little, and they refused. For the next couple of years, it was a disaster. Instead of using the existing master plan of 2012, we suddenly noticed that the consultant had tossed that aside and started a brand new document. For that reason, we could not compare the old document to the new. Everything was rearranged. Then we found out meetings later that he wasn't even using track changes. So we couldn't compare what the changes were. I'm tired of giving examples of what is wrong in the master plan because I have emails that I've sent both the planning commission and to Mr. Cunningham and the whole board and to Kurt Schulze that are this long. And nobody answers me. Nobody bothers to answer me. You know what, that little blurb on the front page that says misinformation? I think that's misinformation. You say we can communicate with you, but you never answer emails? Really? Number 3 on there is the legal services for extractive industrial ordinance revision. That ordinance was one that one elected official wanted to be bumped to the top of the list, and so it was, while the other ordinances are awaiting attention. Propane service bids. Serious question, are there only 2 providers in the area? Why do we only have 2 bids again? The township routinely has a low number of bidders for all services. Then number 5 on the agenda is the future planning services discussion. Carlisle Wortman, planning consultant, is not coming back. They don't want to work with us. So now Mike Cunningham is going to decide to slip in a planning consultant there and get it hired in just before the election. I'm saying pass everything, wait until after the election is done. Are you making faces at me again, Mike? Why are you making faces at me?
Because you made
Because?
a correct comment that was not appropriate, so.
So you're going to make a face at me?
You didn't make a face at
Yeah,
me.
you did. Oh, and you went like that. But you do that anyway, isn't it your free face? Your free look, that's what you call it. I'm asking you all to pass this, to not pass it, do not do it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Ricardo?
Yeah, I want to know what's changed in the master plan. I want to know with revisions and track changes, because you guys are so non-transparent about changes that you make to documents, and then we have to go and try and figure out line by line, word by word, what changes there are. And I want to know if any changes were made before voting on a master plan for anything, because we've had public hearings. There's been a lot of other things that have been taken place. And as a result of that, the public needs to know whether we are going through and you guys are going to be voting on something that's different than what was presented during those public meetings. Changes to the document should go back to the county for their revision and to the neighboring communities again if there's changes. I'm not talking about, oh, this word was misspelled or anything like that. I'm talking about changes to the content that would affect the meaning of the plan and the intent of the plan as it was stated and pushed forward by the Planning Commission up to the board. That's what I'm talking about. This is a lack of transparency that continues in this board. Lack of transparency. Okay? You guys make the absolute minimum and no effort to try to help the residents understand what you're doing with regard to changes. It's terrible. But I'm not surprised, because this board approves a lot of things that are just terrible. And we're going to hear more discussion about that in the second public comments. But I just don't get it. You know, you talk about misinformation. That is misinformation about you guys putting stuff out that you've changed. I'd like to get a statement that says we haven't changed anything, not one iota, since the Planning Commission recommended the master plan to come up for the board for review. I'd love to see that. But guess what? You don't. We have to find changes. You don't even get the minutes right. So for meetings, they're not published right, consistently. I don't get it, you know. I really don't understand, because it's not simple mistakes. It's intentional misleading of information, and that's what I have a problem with. You intentionally withhold information, changes to documents, needing to go back through the processes, don't inform the public, minimalistic approach, maximum taxation approach. What are we getting for our taxes if you can't do the minimum to communicate with the residents? I don't understand. I understand you don't either. So you either don't know what you're doing, or you're intentionally trying to mislead with statements like, oh, there's misleading statements out there in the community. You are the generators of it.
Anyone else? Being that there's none, we'll we'll go ahead and move on to unfinished business. We have no unfinished business. Moving on to new business, the master plan. I'm sure you've all had a chance to review this. This has been several years in the making. I want to say thanks to Steve Krause for stepping in. We've had 4 PC chairs. I mean, we had some things that have happened. We went through COVID. We had a consultant change in the middle of it, and now another one. So, thank you for getting this done and getting it to us. A lot of work, and appreciate what you've done. So, I've got a couple of comments, and I think there's some general housekeeping that needs to occur on this. One of the sections, section 3.4, it says sex distribution. I think that should be changed to gender distribution. On page 74, Hogan Road was left off as a truck route. Of all the truck route roads to be left off, it was Hogan, so that needs to be included. On page 117, it says consumers is the sole energy provider. DTE provides service to the southeast portion of the township, specifically around Lake Tyrone and the southeast corner. So that should be corrected. Page 133, objective 2, line 4, limit overcrowding around lakes should read limit future overcrowding around undeveloped lakes, because our lakes are already developed and they're crowded. Page 135, insert space between section 3 and 4. And then on page 132, objective 4, the statements are conflicting there, so that should be clarified. And then on page, on number 2, the conflicting statements is discourage the extension of sanitary sewer outside of an established service boundary conflicts with page 136, section 5. Encourage residential areas near lakes and rivers or environmentally sensitive areas to connect to a public sanitary sewer. So it's saying to discourage it, and then it turns around and says to encourage it. So that needs to be corrected. I think we should just eliminate that discourage the extension of sanitary sewer. Because if we were to extend it to a like Lake Shannon, that's not in the sewer district. So the master plan would be a conflict of itself, because it says for us to discourage but then encourage something. So I'd like to see that statement cleaned up. So I don't know if you people had those on your thing, but you can check them off. And I guess, I guess we can start then. Herm, did you have any corrections or anything that you noticed needed to be changed?
The only thing I see, Mike, on there is just more community input into something. You said we're going to be married to this for 5 years. I just wish we would have done more like workshops, at least a couple more, to talk to residents. That's what I'd like to see more. And then the one that I have wasn't even, there was a revised version of it that I never received. When I asked to get it, the one that I had was not the full doc, there was a revised one that I never received. So I don't know what the difference was between the version that I received and a revised one.
Did you get that from Ross?
No, I got it from Terry.
That one, that's the one.
That's the
Well,
last one that we
you asked, I asked you if it was, and I asked you if that was the revised version. You said that Jennifer asked you the same thing, that it wasn't the revised edition. At your counter, I asked you. There were other residents that said they didn't get the revised edition either. Well, that's what you said. I didn't pull it out of the air, Terry. I was standing at the counter, and I asked you if you gave me that.
You guys have the same thing. You all have the same thing.
Okay, there was
And
no
that's what
revised
Ross
edition?
gave me. That's what Ross.
This is the revised. This
Okay,
is
but the
one
copy
we're
that you
working
gave me was the revised edition.
I only put things in the board packet that are given to me. That's what
Okay,
was
well, there
given
were
to
residents
me
that asked me
from-
that said that there was a revised edition.
No, there was not.
Okay.
This is the current.
That I got the
revised
wrong information.
Okay.
Okay, then that's what I did. I got the wrong.
Okay, did you have any,
Other thing? No, I don't.
okay, thank you. David?
Just a couple of quick comments. One of them was there was a request from the Historical Society regarding making some edits in here that seemed pretty benign. And unless anybody has any objections to them, I would recommend we add those to the revisions.
Well, I went through those and I did, the conflicting statements,
You took the conflictings out,
yeah.
Okay.
Was one of them,
because I'm looking for them.
and then,
So,
First one was.
hang on, there's 523 pages in this thing. It's really
So
slow.
the first one is on page 21. Here.
That doesn't speed my computer up in any form of action, so.
yeah, it was on page 116.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, let me state that, page 116, based on the township's population, the National Parks and Recreation Association recommends, that it needs to be clarified.
It's supposed to read, the National Recreation and Parks Association recommends roughly 150 acres of parkland.
Park, that's just right.
So the in there, that period needs to be
Got it.
omitted.
Okay, so that's.
Can I say something since I submitted that?
It's not
I
public
just
comment
wanted,
time.
I know, but I just want to clarify, there were edits in the message that David's referring to, and then there was a section that I was asking to be added. That's all I'm clarifying.
And I had several edits, and I'm not allowed to speak about them. Well, why is that not wrong?
All right,
That's my
enough.
Why what?
So, that one needs to be done.
Yeah. So, can I ask a question of the planning commission chairman?
Sure.
Sure.
You don't have to, Steve, you can do it from there if you don't want to come. But you got a pretty big voice. So, to that question that was asked earlier, just so that I know, is what we have before us all 523 pages that I've gone through for the last 4 days? Is this what was voted out by the planning commission?
I would have to assume that it is. I have no idea why it would not be.
Okay.
If
With
I could-
the exception of the edits that we've just.
Right. And if I could comment on Herman's comment about additional visioning sessions, we originally scheduled 2, however the township lets the residents know about it, I'm not part of that. But the first session was well attended, and we basically, it was pretty productive. Then we had one scheduled also for Saturday, people couldn't make it during the week, and not one person showed up to that.
I was there.
And not according to John Moore, I was not at that, but not according to John Moore, so no one showed up. And so we didn't schedule anymore, and that was back in the days when the planning commission would engage with the residents. And we had back and forth on a pretty regular basis about the planning. So it wasn't like we just slammed it, it was a slam dunk and we shoved it down anyone's throat. And it's really too bad that we had to go through 4 planning commissioners because of the toxicity of the audience. And it also.
That's not fair.
Unbelievable.
It's too bad that our planner was for the same reason.
Unreal.
It's true.
Oh, is that?
Civil applies to him.
And you know, I think you're gonna be up to your 5th planning commissioner pretty soon, Mike.
Good.
Yeah, fine. Anyway, we did the best job we could as a planning commission on that document, and I think it really, especially as far as the future land use map, we spent a lot of time on that, taking into consideration the comments of the residents. You know, we got rid of the pyro, we really scaled back industrial and commercial because that's what we heard from residents, they want to keep it rural, so that was what we really concentrated on. You know, and I think personally it's a better document than the one other places.
Okay, thank you. I have no further comment.
Okay. Pam, did you have anything you wanted to add to it?
Just throughout the document, just grammar errors. I don't know if we were going to go through periods and capitalizations.
And then just submit what we have.
Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody have any anything outside of grammar errors or something that maybe some conflicting statements or something that needs to be corrected outside of?
So I'm dyslexic, so don't look for me to find those. I'm not gonna be your guy.
Okay.
I'm gonna rewrite the room, so.
I've got a couple minor ones that are non-grammatical and things like that. One thing that I noticed, and I think the document in general it's not really an inconsistency, I guess is what I'm saying, but Objective 2 states that, we're gonna limit the intrusion of commercial activities into lake areas. And I just thought, with the comments that were received and the way that the rest of it was drafted, it might make more sense to say residential areas in general rather than just residential areas around the lakes. So I don't know what the best way to work that in was. So there was that comment, and then the only other thing I noted was, that there was, I think, a fairly positive response to dark sky ordinances, and I didn't really see that worked in the objective, but I think that's more of an ordinance rather than a master plan.
It is an ordinance.
Yeah, so that wouldn't be in here. And that was all I had, just a few other corrections. Yeah. So.
The couple things I noticed is I think the whole document needs to be numbered 1 through 520 something. Instead of piecemeal, it would be a lot easier. Being at the board table.
I like that.
Also on the RU sanitary sewer, it states, that the township purchased the capacity of 1,500,000 gallons, which on average it's telling us to equate the 5,760 RUs. Well, that's based on 260 gallons. What we have been using all along is based on 210 gallons. So I'm not sure if we want this document to show that we actually have RUs of 7,143. I don't know how the board
Why you should be accurate.
I mean, I think that was originally what they were thinking, but we're not using that gallons on average. So I think it should state what we really have. But what do you guys think?
I agree.
I agree with that.
Okay, so that will be changed. Other than the additions I had with yours, I think that's all I had.
Okay.
I think the maps were well done. I seen a lot of changes of it. If you go back and read 13's original, not a lot of changes, but the ones I seen were for the better.
So do you
I
want-
thank the committee for doing this.
Do you want to send it back for revision and bring it back to us when it's complete?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. That's what we're gonna do then.
So we'll email us changes.
Yep. All right. Moving on to item number 2, the temporary dwelling permit request. We have a resident who's built a home that has an existing home. Our ordinance states that you can't have 2 primary structures on the same parcel. So they are asking a request to live in that house, and when they get their C of O, they'll tear that down within 60 days of getting their C of O. It's something that we have done regularly. Do you have a request? Yeah. Let me finish though. We do have a written agreement from them stating that once they get their house built, they will tear the house down. So that will give us backing in court to make sure that that happens. Traditionally, we have not charged an escrow for these, but it's always something that we can talk about if we want to. So, what do we want to do and how we want to handle it?
Mike, does the proposed agreement have that they'll remove the debris after the tear down?
It was vague. It said, I agree to abide by the terms of the ordinance on temporary dwellings. I agree to live in the dwelling for 10 months until the house is completed. And when we move into the new home, we will remove the old dwelling within 60 days. The current address is, and then it has their name, phone number that's stated.
So if they say remove, I would assume that means, and I think it's safe to say that we tear down and remove the debris.
Right.
So I'm saying,
Okay. So let's have them amend that, amend the agreement.
Like in fact, when they do that, they require them to remove the existing foundation completely also and backfill it with sand. So we add all debris, including foundation. That way it's backfilled with sand.
What does the ordinance say?
We usually backfill with sand when you leave the foundation in.
Well, they.
But if you take the foundation out, it's just backfill.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Same thing like a swimming pool, there's usually sand they put in them. But- Okay, but so, any other terms?
What does the board think about the deposit, the bond? I mean, I guess my reservation would be if we had to take legal action to enforce it. I don't necessarily want the taxpayers to be on the hook for that, but I also don't want to impose a hardship on these folks either, because they're trying to sell the house. And,
We would definitely ask for attorney fees and court costs, part of the claim.
okay.
And we do pretty good in recovering those claims. So, I mean, yeah, I understand, you know, this is another ordinance I think we really need to take a good look at. And go from there, because we have a taxable structure that a resident is living in, and they're building a house out back, you know. So, it's up to you guys if that's what you want to do. So,
Yeah, I make a motion, Mike, we accept this if the terms that they have with, you know, removing all debris and back, if they take.
with the amended contract.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll support.
It's been motioned and supported to approve the temporary dwelling permit request with the amended contract for removal. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. So as you know, we're going to move forward without a planning consultant, but we do have a moratorium for extractive industrial, that's for gravel pits, and I've done some research and have actually, it came as a recommendation from our soon-to-be previous planner that this is the guy that we need to hire. I've done some research, checked with some judge buddies of mine up at the Supreme Court, and they say, yeah, the guy's legit. So he has his name is Gerald Fisher. He also teaches at Cooley Law School. He has sent over an engagement letter to help us draft this ordinance. And the rate is $200 an hour, which I find, as attorneys go in the state of Michigan, to be more than fair. And you know, with our moratorium, we've got something to get accomplished, and this guy can get it done for us.
Mike, these are for future gravel pits?
Yeah, it's our whole ordinance needs a revision. It's, you know.
Has he given you any indication as to what the length of time would be for the scope? I mean, $200 an hour is fine, depending on how many hours, right? It's about, this is like, can you walk to the restaurant? Sure, you can walk to any restaurant. How long do you want to walk? So my question
Well,
is,
I guess it all depends on, you know, are we going to meet with him, you know, teleconference if he's traveling here. He hasn't given us an indication, but we can ask him for one.
I would recommend we ask him for some kind of an estimate as to the length of time and the scope of work.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Otherwise, this is just pretty open-ended, right? So, yeah.
I was impressed by his resume, and I thought his rate was provided we get the satisfactory. That's all I suppose we can't vote on now.
Exactly.
So,
Just one.
I guess I'll entertain a motion with the requested timeline,
Yes.
or do you want to?
No, let's, I want to hear what the timeline's gonna be, so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We gotta get moving on this stuff.
I understand, but I still want to hear a timeline. And with the scope of work will involve in the timeline.
Okay. So we have a motion for that.
Motion, yes.
Do I have support? Support. It's been motioned and supported to sign the engagement letter for legal services with the aforementioned stipulations. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, that motion carries. Next is the propane service bids. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so we have two bids. Suburban has thrown their hat in the ring again. Their offer is this, for this coming year, is $1.44 a gallon. And our company that we have been using for years is Hamilton, and they're at $1.44.9. I make a suggestion to the board to keep Hamilton's. We don't have to switch tanks. Their service has been impeccable. The billing we haven't had no issues with. I'm sure Suburban would be fine too, but you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Jennifer, are they located on Old 23 Hamilton?
No, Suburban is Old 23. Hamilton has one in Ortonville and Otisville offices.
So I like to do business with people that pay taxes that have business here, and they're the same, but we have to change the tank, but it wouldn't cost us anything, would it?
Typically there is a tank fee, but I think he said he would waive it. No, I don't have any. I think he said he would waive it.
When is this contract due? When is our propane service contract due?
I think it's July or August. That's when we signed last year. I don't know if we do a contract per se. We do a, we used to do a pre-buy.
Hamilton.
We used to have to do
Just north of
pre-buy,
Orlando.
and then they just said they'll give us that rate through the year. We don't have to pre-buy it.
Oh, so we don't have to front the cash, they'll give
No,
us the rate?
nope. Nope, Hamilton says no, they'll just guarantee us that rate, and,
I'd really like to go with Suburban if they're in the township, even if they were a little bit more. I would like to do business with them.
I get that too.
Yeah.
But also too, we have we ran out of propane when we first moved in. We were trying to figure out, we didn't know where the tank was. I mean, it was in the middle of winter and Suburban was here within,
Oh,
I'm
Hamilton.
Hamilton, I'm sorry. Hamilton was here
when
within,
we figured out who the provider was or who owned the tank.
Well, if you're happy with it, Jennifer, I'd make a motion that we stay with Hamilton.
I think we're happy with them.
Yeah.
Have you had any issues, Terry? We haven't run out since. We're on keep bill basis, so we don't have to call them, it's nothing we have to.
Yeah.
they're on it, so.
I make a motion we stay with them then.
Okay. Do you have support?
Support.
Been motioned and supported to approve the Hamilton propane contract. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that motion carries. Okay, I'm sure everyone has seen the letter from our planner saying that they are not going to renew our contract. They contacted another firm to see if they would be interested, Beckett Grader, another well-known firm, and they said they'd get back to me, and they said that they're not interested. This is going to be difficult because many of the planning services companies are consolidating and they're getting less and less. Spicer Engineering has planning services and they're getting out of the planning service. What they're finding is that, they have these services, they bring in employees, they come in at 9 o'clock, they work till 5 o'clock, they do planning commission meetings till, some of them go till 11 o'clock at night, midnight, and it burns them out. 2.5 years, they could do something else. So, finding planners is quite difficult.
Is there any kind of resource at MTA that has a list of recommended planners?
Yeah, one that we fired.
Well, okay, setting that one.
And the two that I called, yeah.
Okay,
And the
those are three.
one that
Are there-
didn't want to do business with us anymore.
It can't be.
I mean, we could put it out for bid, we could hire somebody in-house.
I
think
quite,
we
bringing it in-house just has lots of legacy costs attached to it, so.
I think we need to at least know what the options are too.
Yeah.
I think putting it up to bid is the best
Yeah.
option.
Put together an RFP, and I'd say put it up.
Okay. That's what we'll do. All right, we have no more new business, no miscellaneous business. Last call for public remark.
I just hope everybody just heard that. The one they just fired. And we were blamed for chasing them out just a minute ago by our planning commission. We still haven't taken responsibility, you guys. I know it was a nice, beautiful letter just before the election, but this goes way back. This goes way back to where we had social media. And you guys just scared you to death. People talking about the asphalt plant. It was so bad that you attacked the woman that ran one of the sites. Mike even put an email out there. You even put an email on her, trying to turn the public against her. You know who she is. I'm not going to mention her name. It's been like that since way back when. It's been mostly you. And then when Kevin Ross said, I would burn to the ground, you put him on the planning commission.
Yep.
Just to stick a knife right in the historical society's back. So who brought all this on? Listen, I'm a resident. I have a right to question any one of you. I can question anything I want. I have that right. You can attack me, I don't care, but you shouldn't. We got an employee in here on Facebook all day attacking residents and arguing with us. I'm on Facebook on my time. You know what? She didn't even realize who she works for. Oh, I work for the township. I had to explain to her, I said, don't you realize the township belongs to the people? She didn't even know that. But who's supervising these people? Who's supervising them? Shame on you guys for not bringing this stuff up. It's crazy. It's crazy. I was called. Listen, I brought up the stuff that's going on here, coming in here and not having a supervisor here all the time. It's not just me. There's so many people. I don't come here and look every day. I just go, people go by and they make the comments. Where's our supervisor? But you know what? They're scared to death to get retaliated against. I did. Well, it's fine. I got a big shoulder. Come on, hit me. I'll take it. I'm going to give it right back. I'll give it right back. It's terrible. It's terrible how you guys act. And there's no accountability. That's why we have a board. He's not king. All right? He's not king. Mike, you brought a lot of this on. You don't realize it. You did. I know a lot of people. My family's been on for years. You've turned a lot of people off. Maybe you make it the election, but a lot of people don't like you. I know people don't like me. I don't care. But listen, I never attacked Kevin personally, but I was called a dick. And it was a video. Okay, then I go to the planning commission meeting and I bring up stuff on solar. If we're talking about solar, I wanted to say something about what else is it? Anyways, he called me a clown because I was questioning about having something put on the. Oh man, this guy's got to go.
Oh, really? I didn't put my hand up.
I did.
You had your hand up.
No, I did not.
I did.
Okay, so you don't want to make a public
I do,
comment?
but not right now.
I'm calling on you to make a public
I don't want to make one right now.
I had my hand up first. Thank you. Please be respectful.
When you are called upon, you will be called upon. And right now, I didn't call upon you because when there were 3 hands up.
She didn't have her hand up.
Sir,
Okay.
it's not a debate. Have a seat. Motion to adjourn.
Oh, come on. Don't you dare. Don't you guys dare motion to adjourn. Really?
This is what
Do not support it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Don't you dare.
Those opposed?
Who's opposed? Who's opposed? Zach's opposed? Herman's opposed? Hey,
August 6th is an election.
we're having a meeting out in the parking lot. Everybody come out because there's lots to say. Keep it going.
This is a public.
Well, okay, then let's stay here. I'll conduct the meeting.
We'll stay here, they can leave.
I'll conduct it.
I'd like to know why this meeting wasn't recorded or broadcast.
Is it not recorded?
No.
Did you see how they turned off all the comments on all their meetings?
Because I showed up late, I wanted to start watching, and it's not recorded and being broadcast. Who made that decision? That's going to be a FOIA request. And they need that.
What's that is? Okay, so guys, do you want to conduct the meeting and we can at least have public comment time? I'll go first. Oh, good.
Every single person who's got denied their First Amendment.
Yep.
Sitting in this room. No? No, you don't think so? Okay.
Well, we don't have a lawyer yet. Hey, we don't have a lawyer that represents the people. They represent people up there.
So, do you guys want to hear what I wanted to say up there or no? Yeah. Okay. Chris, do you want to go first? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll hold it on you if you want.
He's a child. He's a child.
Any board members want to stay? Please stay. Okay.
So this board is completely failed.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Herman, you want to stay to me?
This is exactly how a board who won't hold people accountable on the board behaves. All right? This is how they behave. Of course, they require a huge code of conduct, even though they harassed me personally because of my hearing disability month after month after month and tried to pinhole me back into the corpse thing over there. This is what they do. They aren't accountable for anything. Not one thing. They won't hold their people accountable for the actions and misactions that they do against us residents. They don't do it. Okay? That's the key. So this is the biggest thing. Please get to your neighbors about voting this board out. Except for Herman. Herman's still doing a good job. He's standing up. He's sitting down, but standing up. But please, please, you must understand this poison starts with the leadership in this board at the top. The man who decided he wanted to...
Can we have some quiet, please? Excuse me, can we have a little quiet? Thank you.
Before the public comments. That's why we have to get voting. Okay?
Chris, the chairman of the planning commission said it best. The audience.
We got to tag together.
We're not an audience, we're the residents.
We're the residents, we're not the audience, we're the residents.
He attacked us. He attacked us and chased the plan around. And then Mike admitted he fired him. You know why he fired him? Because he keeps bossing up things.
Folks,
Yep.
I'm just the messenger. I understand what's going on. I know you guys don't agree with it, but they're asking everyone to go out to the parking lot because they're going to close the building.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're still live, guys, so.
Here, can you hear something? Should I stop this?
No, keep it going.
What do you think that was planned?
Oh,
I've got your phone. Absolutely, you couldn't wait to shut it down.
I was going to talk to you.
I'm not. I'm just.
But I'm going to come out. We're going to go outside.
Can you come up? Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Well, thank you. You're very welcome.
Thank you, sir. Every other one's live.
Hey, I didn't give you one for Steve.
I hope that video stays.
It's live. You guys, we really want, hey, Scott. Where's he going? Scott. You coming? Tell Dean to come over too. everyone? Okay. Okay. Nope. Okay, well, it's hard to get everybody organized in here and wanting to say anything, but I'm happy to make my public statement if anybody wants to hear it. If anybody else had what's that? Yeah. Okay. Do you want to hold this? Okay. I really do hope that people stay. Hey, Chris, can you encourage people to stay, and then also if Herman wants to speak too? Okay.
If anyone wants to stay, we'll be gathering over here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, can we have your attention just for a moment?
Okay. So I just want to speak to what happened on social media. We had Kevin Ross, who is on the Planning Commission. He was appointed, as Scott said earlier, after he made a speech here at a township meeting, board meeting, where he said that we should basically just burn down the old townhouse. And he also attacked the township residents, the Historical Society. So you need to go back and listen to that one. But here's some of the things. What Cunningham has done is he's basically given the green light to all officials and employees to go right ahead and continue attacking residents. These are only some of the history of these attacks. And I've mentioned this before, a speech given by a former clerk that attacked myself and Sarah Dahlman Jersey during a board meeting. This was a few years ago. The lies were never addressed. The attack was never denounced by the supervisor. A public comment was made shortly after that by Marcia Dix, who sits on the Zoning Board of Appeals, something like that. She called into the question the character of myself and Sarah again to try to save the old townhouse, accused us of, taking people's money and spending it on things that weren't needed, whatever. That attack was never denounced. Shortly thereafter, Marcy was appointed to the Board of Appeals after she did that attack. A Zoom meeting video that took an excessive amount of time to be published was found to have missing content, and the supervisor called me a liar for that. We know there's at least 5 people that will attest to the attacks that he made during that meeting having been edited out. The supervisor, and you guys saw this tonight, he makes faces at residents who provide public comments, but he does say that he's providing a free face. Or actually, I'm sorry, he calls it his free look. Supervisor's wife or girlfriend, she stood alongside a man outside of the township hall. Scott stood right beside me as he attacked me verbally and threatened to hurt me physically, saying that I don't belong here and I have no right to speak at meetings. And then the supervisor's wife/girlfriend, the two of them sat together for that meeting and glared at me the whole time. Several months ago, the cashier, Lynn Daniels, that Scott spoke to tonight, she was attacking me and Scott on Facebook, but what was crazy about it was the fact that she was up here supposedly working, but she had no cashiering to do, so she said, I wanted to call on Mike tonight and have him clarify that. Who does the sheriff work for?
I can clarify.
Can you clarify?
I called and talked to the
called him?
or the sheriff about that.
Yep.
And they said, yeah, that was wrong.
Okay.
But yet they've done nothing, taken nothing.
They've done nothing to correct it.
They have the right to file a report.
But they didn't let me.
But he told me that it was wrong and that then you're going to make sure that we file his report.
Well, am I among the township business? No, he did not know I was listening. But I'm going to tell all the women in this crowd here, and you guys who have mothers, wives, daughters, if you would be okay with someone, an elected official, saying that he wants to slap your wife or your girlfriend across her effing face and have her sit the F down and shut the F up. He has to be held to a higher standard, and whether he knew that anybody was listening or not, guess what? That's what he feels about us. That's what he feels about me. He feels that way about all of you. I think
We're the audience.
Yep.
For their little show. It's a shame. I mean,
So,
I just can't believe we couldn't at least get a discussion about the incident. The incident was bad. I mean, listen, I'm not going to stand bad and take. I got a right to go on social media and talk to my neighbors and see what I see and repeat what I heard from other neighbors. Okay? They don't like it here. They think they don't have to answer to us. And the problem is with our board, these personal stuff I can take care of myself. It's the whole citizens group. And that's how he feels about anybody. You come and make a comment, you're going to make fun of me. You made fun of me just because I was talking about the, what do you call it? Things that are going to happen. What? So here's,
drones.
Drones. I mentioned drones. I says, everybody's got a camera and they're flying around your yards, my lake. I mean, they want to bring our packages. I mean, can you imagine if packages are flying through the air? Shouldn't we be concerned about it? And then he made fun of me. I'm a clown. I mean, you're going to go to a meeting and discuss things and call a clown? Because everybody's got a right to make a comment.
Without any regard. Oh, take the post down. Oh yeah, the damage is already done. Guess what? We got to face him every meeting. The intent is to get us to stop going to the meetings. That's the intent here. Oh, well, if it gets too hot, meeting's adjourned like you saw tonight. This is the township that once we replace the board, except for Herman, we can then replace the planning commission because those people are appointed. Okay, those people are appointed, then we can get people who won't berate the residents. And this whole Kevin Ross thing, believe me, as a planning commissioner, someone who doesn't listen to anybody but his own voice about what he wants is bad. I've been out knocking on doors, and I'll tell you, I've been talking to residents for the last 2 months, and they all have taught me different things about what the different residents want. That's what we need, is dialogue with the residents. That's the key. That's all we've ever asked for, is town hall style meetings, maybe once every 3 months would be nice, that we can come and ask questions. There would be no issues like this if they would just talk openly like we're talking now. That's the key.
I live on Hogan Road, and I've been there for 11 years. And when I first got into their spring aggregate, was gravel pit for the last year for and they closed down, and there was a big hoopla where the guy wanted to bring Hogan Road through Tyrone Township for a truck. So 7 people sit on the board here in Tyrone Township and voted it in to come all the way through. So since then, they had land use permits to bring only 29 trucks down that road a day. Right now, it's 300 trucks a day. They have one ordinance, and it's no jake breaking. Jake breaking means you have to be there to catch them doing it. But when you talk to any officer, whether it be state patrol or just local sheriffs, they use the excuse, I'm not DOT certified, so I can't pull over any trucks. The speed limit is now lifted from 25 to 55. So you have a 160,000 pound truck going 2 times. The recommended ordinance, it's not even in the paperwork, is 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday, 8 till noon. So GVM is the land, is the new people that own the gravel pit. And we're getting away with murder down there because the land use that they have only allows them to mine sand and gravel. 100 times a week they bring in crushed asphalt, crushed concrete, they dump it, and then it comes back out. So there's no ordinance official in Deerfield Township that's going to go over there and say, hey, you're not supposed to do this. And gladly, there's not one here either. So 2/3 of the truck route is in Tyrone Township. So 10 years ago, I came to Mike and I said, hey, this is crazy. My house is 60 feet from the road. My house was built in 1884. Those trucks rattle my pictures off, not to mention the pounds of dust that they throw on my house and my property and everything, cars, so on and so forth. So he said, things take time, we'll look at it. We had a special meeting here. 5 of the people didn't show up. They were supposed to be here. The only person that showed up was Mike, me, and a couple of my neighbors. So they tabled it. Nothing ever happened. So the years go by. Most recently, I called Mike and I said, hey, something has to be done here. It's still time. We're at 10 years now. So I came in here. I talked to Jennifer. I talked to Pam. I talked to Ross. I talked to Carrie back there. Everybody has the same feeling. Oh, that's terrible. I can't believe you moved there. Oh my God, it's so terrible. So Mike finally heard us, and he came out and he started talking, and we got on the Google Earth map, and he looked at it, and he seen these mountains of asphalt, mountains of concrete that aren't from the ground. They've been hauled down that road. And so I talked to the girls in the office for probably an hour. Mike come, I said, hey, I don't want to ruin this business, but I mean, rules are rules. So I went home, and he called me, and he said, listen, don't come into my office and talk to my employees. He said, you're wearing out your welcome here. Don't come back.
Come talk to me. He says, come talk. If you have questions, come to my office.
He said, don't come back.
So he can close the door.
So today, I leave my house, a gravel train passes me, 2 coming the other way. The guy who passed me swerves at the other guy in the other oncoming lane. And these trucks are 160,000 pounds a piece. They can't stop around gravel. And so I just talked to the officer, and he said, I'm not DOT approved, I can't do anything about it. And Mike said to me this, he said, I have 12,000 other people I haven't talked to solve their problems. I said, name one, and I'd like to talk to them and see if you've resolved their conflict. He hasn't done anything. And so basically he's telling me my house is nothing. We're going to mine gravel, and here's the kicker. The guy is frequently on his bass boat doing tournaments.
Yeah, not in the office.
Well, it doesn't matter if he's not in the office. It's one of his friends.
It's his friend.
There's no
They're fishing
ordinance.
buddies.
Nobody wants to do anything about it. And you know what? He doesn't live on that road, so he don't care. You know? I actually, one time I brought a bucket full of dust in here, and I said, where do you want me to put it? And they said, you can't do that. I said, what do you mean? I said, I want to spread this on your tables, on your computers and everything, just like you're doing at my house. And you know, he said, we're going to call the police on you. I said, so I have to call the police on you? So, I mean, he doesn't really care about anything, nor does his office, because, you know, as a person, I physically went over to Deerfield Township, and I got that GBM gravel pits land use permit, and I personally brought it in 3.5 months ago. He's never once come back to enforce any of the things that he's doing wrong. I mean, it's just like free for all. So if the guy don't get busted for anything, he's just going to keep doing it. I don't know if any of you guys live on Hogan Road, but you have no idea in your worst nightmare what it's like to live on that road.
My mom lives on Green, around the corner, and they're coming down there, not as heavy as there.
Yeah, because they're coming from the highway.
Yeah, it just rattles her whole house.
Their biggest thing is, they're telling me, is that the truck drivers are responsible for the roads because it's a public road. And so they're just washing their hands of it. But, I mean, how do you make like the torrential downpours we've had the last, look at my truck, it's the black one.
We know.
It's the dirty one.
6 inches of rain one day.
Yeah, and they just buzz down it, make it unpassable, they grade it the next day. 5 hours later, they chloride it. Next week, they grade it. 3 days in between, the dust is just like tunnel, do it again. But in between time, you wash your truck, you park it in your driveway, you might as well win mud water. I mean, it's ridiculous. But, so what's the ideal of it? I mean, why can't they move it to a paved road? Why can't they go out Argentine? If there's actually a facility in Deerfield Township, let them handle it. What do we gain by having those 3 miles of truck route in our township?
Before you go any further, let's point out the officer in the parking lot.
Yeah.
That every meeting we got an officer not patrolling our streets, not patrolling Hogan Road. I mean, were we that dangerous? Did they need a police officer? No. For you, yes. Oh yeah.
For you.
I'm telling you, listen, I seen what happened, and I sent Mike an email on Thursday about putting this on the agenda because David Walker said protocol, don't ambush him, and then people will have an idea of that. So I sent it at 8:38 on Thursday morning. Never got a response back until this afternoon, 3 hours before the meeting. What's the purpose of putting it on the agenda? And I said, what's the purpose? So we can discuss it. Because I don't work for the board, I work for you. I'm there to represent you. Whether I get elected or not, you know what? I can walk out and say, you know, I made some mistakes, but I learned a lot. And whether I disagree with residents, and Kevin said that he was attacked, he's made 40% of the meetings.
That's right.
I've missed 2.
He's missed 57% this year.
57 this year?
57.1% But the thing of it is, it's like,
this year.
I never felt like I was attacked. If I felt like I was attacked, then I need to go to somebody and say, what did I do to make you feel that way? And I don't feel like it, that I was ever attacked. But tonight, it's just, I've lived here for 47 years, and if this continues to happen, if we don't spread the word out, nothing's going to change. Nobody got a chance to voice their opinion and just walked out. I didn't get what I wanted on the board, but I wasn't upset and walked out because there were other issues. And the thing of it is, I've been asking for workshops so we can have discussions. I don't get a chance to talk to residents. I don't even get a chance to talk to board members. I said to David Walker, we might as well put mannequins up in the chair. And it's exactly it. It's like what you need.
Your words don't even make.
Well, hey, give me my 3 minutes.
Yes.
Well, what happened just before the meeting is Jennifer called me, tried to talk me, if not putting it on there, all I'm going to do is make more people more hostile, come in and talk to her. Nope, can't do it. And I had other board members that didn't want me to put it on there, but you know what? I don't work for them. And I like them, they're good. But the thing of it is, they need to start standing up for you. Whether I get elected or somebody else, they need to stand up for you and do what's right. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Herman.
Sorry, I own 3 minutes.
Well, hang on.
Well,
way more than 3 minutes.
I know, but he kept cutting me off.
Well, I just wanted to say you wasn't the only one. You wasn't the only one. Just let you know.
And just to be clear, I emailed Mike on Monday and told him what was going on and asked him if he would do something. He ignored me, didn't do anything until Herman this afternoon. So I'm just. Does anybody else?
Anybody else have a comment? Yeah, that they would have liked to make that were cut short?
That they weren't broadcasting the meeting because I showed up late and I just wanted to catch up on the beginning of it, and it wasn't live, wasn't up. So I was told, I guess it was. It came out and said that it was recorded, so I guess that'll have to be requested to get a copy of it. But for whatever reason, somebody decided not to put this one up live. So that's a little concerning to me. So
because they knew what was going to happen.
Because I can't watch it on Instagram.
I have a question for you, Herman.
Yes.
I would love to know why you brought up the point about the propane company. About the propane company.
With Suburban being over here.
And you were talking about how you rather use Suburban because they are in this. And then as soon as you got the slightest bit of pushback, you then made a motion to keep Hamilton. I'm just curious why you do that.
With that there, they said that they had automatic refill. I don't know. See, the thing of it is, if we had workshops, we could discuss that more. And that's what I would like, to get more information on that. They don't give it to you.
Well, honestly,
Thank you.
it was to you.
Well, there you go. They're not
just sitting on the opposite
we should be using people in here.
Oh, yeah.
I am using this guy.
Sure.
And they had
Sure.
$22,000.
This is Herman in the strike, Herman Ferguson. He's on the board.
You're in there. Hey, you can issues. Is this a good deal? They've never done that on anything.
Get a couple different quotes.
Do you have any voter guides in
Just curious why you would do that. But I think you had a good point.
Yeah, I just would rather use,
I still think you have a good point.
Yes. I don't know if they do the same thing. I don't know that.
They do.
Then why can't you just say, okay, we're not going to vote on it tonight, we're going to push it off, and you're going to go find out. And then you're going to come back with 2 bids that are exactly the same, so we know what we're agreeing to.
So the meeting would have got shut down. You think that it lasted as long as it did? You did a little bit because you like what you're doing? Just shut it down. It wouldn't have lasted as long as it did.
That's right, shut it down.
No, we did.
Show the people who you are. Show your true colors. That's what I want. I want him to show his true colors.
First time you told me I like him. He's a nice guy. It's about leadership. Another resident, another trustee, Trustee Ferguson,
Okay.
Well, oh, you mean more meeting?
And so you can see certain people stayed and certain people left. Just ask yourself who was here and who left. Okay, I'm going to end this because I just want to have conversations.
Steve was out.
Like Greg and
Sarah. Greg was here. He was here earlier. He couldn't stay around. But Steve's wife is here. Steve Atkinson's wife was here.
Oh, let me get her.
You want us to put it in this yard, Dean?
Yeah, no, he's going to take it. For the election, we'll
just be done.
Yeah. Got a camera on, you're flying around your yards, my lake. I mean, they want to bring our packages. I mean, can you imagine if packages are flying through the air? Shouldn't we be concerned about it? Yeah. And then he made fun of me. I'm a clown.
Yeah.
I mean, you had to go to a meeting and discuss things and call a clown? Because I mean, everybody's got a right to make a comment.
Well, that's the thing. How does a resident show up at any of these meetings after they've been berated, harassed, or anything else, and trust the people who are making those comments about us are really qualified to make decisions that are affecting this community? That's wrong. I'm a resident. I'm speaking as a resident, all right? That is absolute BS. Yes. I'm tired of getting harassed. I'm tired of this township allowing people on the board, on the planning commission, to be able to behave this way without any regard. Oh, take the post down. Oh yeah, the damage is already done. Guess what? We got to face him every meeting. The intent is to get us to stop going to the meetings.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
the intent here. Oh, well, if it gets too hot, meetings adjourned like you saw tonight. This is the township that once we replace the board, except for Herman, we can then replace the planning commission because those people are appointed. Okay, those people are appointed. Then we can get people who won't berate the residents. And this whole Kevin Ross thing, believe me, as a planning commissioner, someone who doesn't listen to anybody but his own voice about what he wants is bad. I've been out knocking on doors, and I'll tell you, I've been talking to residents for the last 2 months, and they all have taught me different things about what the different residents want. That's what we need, is dialogue with the residents. That's the key. That's all we've ever asked for, is town hall style meetings, maybe once every 3 months would be nice, that we can come and ask questions. There would be no issues like this if they would just talk openly like we're talking now. Yeah. That's the key.
I live on Hogan Road, and I've been there for 11 years. And when I first got into their spring aggregate, it was the gravel pit to the west in Deerfield Township. And they closed down, and there's a big hoopla where the guy wanted to bring Hogan Road through Tyrone Township for a truck route. So 7 people sit on the board here in Tyrone Township and voted it in to come all the way through. So since then, they had land use permits to bring only 29 trucks down that road a day. Right now, it's 300 trucks a day. 300. They have one ordinance, and it's no jake braking. And jake braking means you have to be there to catch them doing it. And when you talk to any officer, whether it be state patrol or just the local sheriffs, they use the excuse, I'm not DOT certified, so I can't pull over any trucks. The speed limit is now lifted from 25 to 55. So you have a 160,000 pound truck going 2 times. The recommended ordinance, it's not even in the paperwork, is 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturday, 8 till noon. So GBM is the new people that own the gravel pit, and they're getting away with murder down there because the land use that they have only allows them to mine sand and gravel.
Not in this.
100 times a week they bring in crushed asphalt, crushed concrete. They dump it and then it comes back out. So there's no ordinance official in Deerfield Township that's going to go over there and say, hey, you're not supposed to be doing this. And there's not one here either. So 2/3 of the truck route is in Tyrone Township. So 10 years ago I came to Mike and I said, hey, this is crazy. My house is 60 feet from the roads. My house was built in 1884. Those trucks rattle my pictures off, not to mention the pounds of dust that they throw on my house and my property and everything, the cars, so on and so forth. So he said, things take time, we'll look at it. We had a special meeting here. 5 of the people didn't show up that were supposed to be here. The only person that showed up was Mike, me, and a couple of my neighbors. So they tabled it, nothing ever happened. So the years go by. Most recently, I called Mike and I said, hey, something has to be done here. It's still time. We're at 10 years now. So I came in here, I talked to Jennifer, I talked to Pam, I talked to Ross, I talked to Carrie back there. Everybody has the same feeling. Oh, that's terrible. I can't believe you live there. Oh my God, it's so terrible. So Mike finally heard us and he came out and he started talking and we got on the Google Earth map and he looked at it and he's seen these mountains of asphalt and mountains of concrete that aren't from the ground. They've been hauled down that road. And so I talked to the girls in the office for probably an hour. Mike come, I said, hey, I don't want to ruin his business, but I mean, rules are rules. So I went home and he called me and he said, listen, don't come into my office and talk to my employees. He said, you're wearing out your welcome here. Don't come back.
But come talk to me. He says, come talk to me. If you have questions, come to my office.
He said, don't come back.
Close the door.
So today, I leave my house, a gravel train passes me, 2 coming the other way. The guy who passed me swerves at the other guy in the other oncoming lane. These trucks are 160,000 pounds a piece. They can't stop, they're on gravel. And so I just talked to the officer and he said, I'm not DOT approved, I can't do anything about it. And Mike said to me this, he said, I have 12,000 other people I have to talk to, solve their problems. I said, name one, and I'd like to talk to him and see if you've resolved their conflict. He hasn't did anything. And so basically he's telling me my house is nothing. We're gonna mine gravel, and here's the kicker. The guy is frequently on his bass boat doing tournaments with him.
Yeah, not in the office.
Well, it doesn't matter if he's not in the office. It's one of his friends. There's no ordinance. Nobody wants to do anything about it. And you know what? He doesn't live on that road, so he don't care. I actually, one time I brought a bucket full of dust in here, and I said, where do you want me to put it? And they said, you can't do that. I said, what do you mean? I said, I want to spread this on your tables, on your computers and everything, just like you're doing at my house. He said, we're going to call the police on you. I said, so I have to call the police on you? So, I mean, he doesn't really care about anything, nor does his office, because, as a person, I physically went over to Deerfield Township, and I got that GBM gravel pits land use permit, and I personally brought it to him 3.5 months ago. He's never once called me back to enforce any of the things that he's doing wrong. I mean, it's just like free-for-all. So if the guy don't get busted for anything, he's just going to keep going. And I don't know if any of you guys live on Hogan Road, but you have no idea in your worst nightmare what it's like to live on that road.
My mom lives on Green, around the corner. They're coming down. They're not as heavy as there, but
yeah, because they're coming from the highway.
Yeah, they're going through.
And so
it rattles your whole house.
Their biggest thing is they're telling me is that the truck drivers are responsible for the road because it's a public road, and so they're just washing their hands of it. So I mean, how do you make the torrential downpours we've had in the last? Look at my truck; it's the black one right there. It's the dirty one.
6 inches of rain one day.
Yeah, and they just buzz down it, make it unpassable. They grade it the next day. 5 hours later, they chloride it. Next week, they grade it. 3 days in between, the dust is just like a tunnel. They do it again. But in the in-between time, you wash your truck, you park it in your driveway, you might as well mud bug it. I mean, it's ridiculous. But so what's the ideal of it? I mean, why can't they move it to a paved road? Why can't they go out Argentine? If there's actually a facility in Deerfield Township, let them handle it. What do we gain by having those 3 miles of truck route in our township?
You don't gain anything, but somebody must be.
Let's point out the officer in the parking lot.
Yes, I see him.
That every meeting we got an officer patrolling our streets.
He's
not
waiting
patrolling
until
Hogan
Zach
Road.
leaves. When Zach goes, he will
Were we
enter
that
and he'll
dangerous?
leave.
Did they need a police officer? No. For you, yes. Oh yeah. Because
Yeah.
I'm taking you out. Come on, let's go.
Well, did anybody else not have a chance to make a comment? I'm sorry, Herm.
Well,
You didn't have a chance.
That Zach did support what I said. The only reason I support that is because he did support it, so did David Walker, but he's not running any longer.
Sorry, I'm trying to pick up your voice. I'm getting in your face.
You talk louder.
I am talking my loudest. But what I did is I seen what happened, and I sent Mike an email on Thursday about putting this on the agenda because David Walker said protocol, don't ambush him, and then people will have an idea of that. So I sent it at 8:38 on Thursday morning. Never got a response back until this afternoon, 3 hours before the meeting. What's the purpose of putting it on the agenda? And I said, what's the purpose? So we can discuss it. Because I don't work for the board, I work for you. I'm there to represent you. Whether I get elected or not, you know what, I can walk out and say, I made some mistakes, but I learned a lot. And whether I disagree with residents, and Kevin said that he was attacked, he's made 40% of the meetings.
That's right.
I've missed 2.
He's missed 57% this year.
57 this year?
57.1% this year.
I never felt like I
Not
was
the only
attacked. If I felt like I was attacked, then I need to go to somebody and say, what did I do to make you feel that way? And I don't feel like it, that I was ever attacked. But tonight, it's just, I've lived here for 47 years, and if this continues to happen, if we don't spread the word out, nothing's gonna change. Nobody got a chance to voice their opinion and just walked out.
Yep.
I didn't get what I wanted on the board, but I wasn't upset and walked out because there were other issues. And the thing of it is, I've been asking for workshops so we can have discussions. I don't get a chance to talk to residents. I don't even get a chance to talk to board members. I said to David Walker, we might as well put mannequins up in the chair.
Exactly.
And it's exactly it. It's
Bill
like
Woods,
what you need.
Bill Woods don't even make.
Well, hey,
It's unbelievable.
give me my 3 minutes.
Yes.
Well, what happened just before the meeting is Jennifer called me, tried to talk me, if not putting it on there, all I'm going to do is make more people more hostile, come in and talk to her. No, can't do it. And I had other board members that didn't want me to put it on there, but you know what? I don't work for them. And I like them, they're good. But the thing of it is, they need to start standing up for you. Whether I get elected or somebody else, they need to stand up for you and do what's right. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you,
Herman. Sorry, I owe him 3 minutes.
Well, hang on.
Way more than 3 minutes.
I know, but he kept cutting me
I just
off.
want to say you want the
5
only
times.
one. You want the only one. Just let you know.
And just
You
to
can't
be
pick on one.
just to be clear, I emailed Mike on Monday and told him what was going on and asked him if he would do something. He ignored me, didn't do anything until Herman this afternoon. So I'm sick of it.
same way.
Does anybody else have anything?
Anybody else have a comment? Yeah, that they would have liked to make that
I was just
were cut
concerned
short?
that they weren't broadcasting the meeting because I showed up late and I just wanted to catch up on the beginning of it, and it wasn't live, wasn't up. So I was told, I guess it was
Terry
Walker that came out and said that it was recorded, so I guess
Okay.
that'll have to be requested to get a copy of it. But for whatever reason, somebody decided not to put this one up live. So that's a little concerning to me. So figured I better show up in person because I can't watch it.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Herman.
Yes.
I would love to know why you brought up the point about the propane company,
What did I bring up?
about the propane company.
With Suburban being
Yeah.
over here?
And you were talking about how you'd rather use Suburban because they are in this township.
Right.
And then as soon as you got the slightest bit of pushback, you then made a motion to keep
The
Hamilton.
thing of it is, it's like,
I'm
you
just
know,
curious
right.
why you would do that.
With that there, they said that they had automatic refill. I don't know. See, the thing of it is, if we had workshops, we could discuss that more. And that's what I would like, to get more information on that. They don't give it to you in
Well,
an agenda.
honestly,
Yep.
they don't listen to you.
Right. Well, there you go. They're
Imagine
not.
Well, if they're
sitting
putting
on the
things out
opposite
for
end.
bid,
That's the
they
way I
should be
feel.
getting
That,
all of the information.
that we should be using
out for bid,
people in here. But
Yeah.
I am a
Soliciting.
tree service guy, and they had $22,000. Did they even say, hey, can you go over and look? Like with your business, if I'm going to do power work and you're in there, hey, we can't lose you. But is this a good deal? They've never done that on anything.
Do you have any voter guides in there?
And Mike decides who's going to win. Just curious why you would do that. Because I think you had a good point.
Yeah, I just would rather use, local. Even
I
if
still
it's
think
a
you
little
have a
more.
good point.
But it's like, we get this, we get automatic refill, and they can't. I don't know if they do the same thing. I don't know that. They do.
Then why can't you just say, okay, we're not gonna vote on it tonight, we're gonna push it off, and you're gonna go find out, and then you're gonna come back with two bids that are exactly the same, so we know what we're agreeing to.
So the meeting would have got shut down earlier.
Yeah.
You think that it lasted as long as it did? You get a little bit, and he doesn't like what you're doing, he'll shut it down soon. It wouldn't have lasted as long as it did.
That's all right,
Yeah.
shut it down.
Well, he did.
Show
So
the
that's
people
it.
who you are, show your true colors.
Right.
That's what I want, I want him to show his true colors. Show me.
So that's why, it's not, and that's why it needs to change, that we can do that. But I can't because I'm on the board.
Supervisor. I like him. He's a nice guy.
Is that, I've been doing it for 40 years. Like with your business, it's like the good business. Is this a good deal? Like if we were to have that road right over there, is this a good deal?
We should listen to anybody. No. It's just like the consultants. Perhaps we should look at in our own township. There's very talented people.
Well, what it is he has had for 15 years of that.
I don't know. What do you think? Should I end this?
Yeah. Me and
Okay.
Scott and I were the only ones there.
Oh, you mean the whole meeting?
Yeah.
And
I thought
that's
you
what
meant the
happened.
taping.
Yeah, that is what she
Schulze said to me. Hey, I even said this to Mike. When I got on board, I'm invited. Mike Cunningham said, don't do that. He said,
So just everybody chit-chatting now, and we've got Herman out here, board member, that is
he said, Mike wants those meetings done.
explaining to the people, and Chris, who's running, and I know we have Dean Haas is around here too.